Today I'm going to be working with chicken. I'm going to create 3 simple, delicious recipes using one whole chicken which I've purchased today. This chicken is about 1.9 kilo in size and will feed roughly between 5 and 6 people. What I'm going to do is with a good sharp knife, bearing in mind we are working with raw chicken, so hygiene has to be of the highest levels. I'm going to take my knife here, oops, and just cut in through the skin. And then we're going to take the bird, and we're just going to crack it open so you'll see that bone coming through here. Then we'll take the knife and we'll take it as closely to the carcass as we can, and we'll remove our thigh and drumstick. We'll repeat this through the skin, turn it over, bone visible, along the side of the carcass. Now the dish I'm going to be creating today, I'm going to make a simple soup, but we're going to take it to another level. This soup is going to be ramen. And for a ramen dish, all we need for this today is actually the thigh. So we're going to have 2 nice portions of soup. You could, if you wanted to, you could use the breast for the soup, but I'm going to use these for another dish, and the drumsticks another day. Obviously we're going to freeze these cuts once we've taken them off. So we're creating 3 meals out of 1 chicken. Now I'm taking the knife down here, you can feel the spine of the chicken. Taking my sharp knife and just running it. If you follow the chicken itself, you get a clean cut. I'll just turn that around so you can see it. I'm going to take it down through the bone, and then we have, I'll repeat that again. Just following the crevice down. And then through. And what I want is, I'm going to take a carcass and just set that into the pan just now. And for the stock, I want the wings. It's lovely and gelatinous. We're going to cook this very slowly. So I'm just going to remove this wing here into the pan. Just feel for any bone fragments. Trim any excess off into the pan. Flavour there as well. And the next chicken wing, again, just removing bone. Don't want to waste any other meat. A fragment here which we'll just remove. I'll go into the pan as well. Again, feeling for any unwanted pieces. And now thighs. I just want to feel. You can see the joint here. We want to take our knife, cut as far as we can with it, fit the bone, and then just through. Repeat that. So here, you feel the joint with a knife, till we hit the bone, and through. So there we have our 2 drumsticks, our 2 thighs, which we're going to use in today's dish, our lovely large chicken breasts, and the carcass of the chicken. Now realistically, we do have 1, 2, 3, 4. Technically, if we were going to keep the wings, we would have 5 dishes. But I'm going to use these in the stock today. So we'll store and freeze our drumsticks and chicken breasts. And now I'm going to bone these thighs. Again with a sharp knife, You can feel the little bone here. We just want to follow the contour of this bone, scraping any meat away from the bone. And once that wee knuckle is visible, we can just go in with our knife, pop that into a stock pot, and again feeling for any cartilage or fragments, just remove them. Yeah, there's one, and I'll repeat that. Fragment there, we don't want. Again, following the contour of the bone. This applies to any meat, to be honest, like a lamb. If you just follow the contour of the bone and you've got a really good sharp knife, then you can't go wrong. Scrape the meat down to reveal that little knuckle. Just remove that nice and carefully. Bit of cartilage there. And then we have, I'll reserve them for later on when the time comes. Now for the stock itself, I'm just going to take the wings because there's lots of flavour in here. I'm just going to break it down. Same with our chicken cartilage as well. See what I'm doing there with my hand on the back of the knife. I'll pop that into the pot again. And for this size of carcass, we want roughly about maybe 1.2 to 1.5 of cold water. So I'm going to put the cold water into the pan, have a good clean up, and we'll get that onto the stove top. So I've got 1.5 litre of cold water. The chicken just submerged under the water itself. Now I'm going to bring this up on low, because what I'm after is we're going to have the impurities come up from the chicken and arrive on the surface of the water. So for that, I've got my ladle and bowl at hand, but that'll take a few minutes again. So I've got it in a sort of medium to high heat. I'm going to just take it up. Another point I was going to mention earlier on about this kind of stock is that you've got two options. We can either roast the chicken, which will lend more of a richer, creamier finish to the broth, or we want a clean finish with the raw chicken itself, which is the option I've taken today. Because what we'll see in the processes later on, the additional items we're going to add to the soup are what will elevate the soup to another level. So, as you can see now, the impurities have started to come to the surface of the stock. What I'll do is, very carefully, I'm going to take the ladle. And at this point, you might look at the stock and look at it and think, oh, it looks rather cloudy. But this will take about 2 or 3 attempts. It's also known as scum. We just want to very carefully remove that and leave our stock behind. Again, we're still on a sort of medium heat. We don't want to crank it up too high because it'll catch us out and it'll boil and all these impurities will cloud the stock. So this is going to take maybe a few attempts, slow and steady, bit of patience, and it'll just be perfect. So there we have it. It's been about 45 minutes now, and I've taken as much of the impurities from the top as I can. I've even gone as far as taking some kitchen roll and taking to the sides of the pan. At this stage, there's a couple of methods during some research. I can cook this for about an hour and a half, remove the wings and the chicken, and use the meat for another dish. There's other recipes that call for the chicken to be cooked for about 4 to 6 hours, where they go into the blender. It's cooked for so long that the wings and have gone very gelatinous, where it can be processed and then passed. But what I'm going to do is I'm just wanting to take it to the 4 hours where it'll really break down and will clarify the stock then. For that, I'll turn it down. You can see it just blip, 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 blip on the surface, and that's what we're going to maintain for the next 4 hours. So I'll turn this down to a gentle simmer, lid on, and we'll get back to that in about 4 hours. So after 4 hours, let's have a look at our stock. You can see it's just nice and blip, 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 blip effect. That's what we're looking for. At this stage, for flavour, I remember when growing up, when Granny used to do the hard chicken soup, it would be at this stage she would strain it, add some, maybe a good pinch of salt. In fact, what I'll do is, I'm just going to try it as it is. The chicken flavour, it's actually really intense. And she would just add some rice and some grated carrot and a grated onion. Lovely, lovely light meal. But at this stage, we're just going to add the flavourings, which are 1 onion thinly sliced, 1 small leek thinly sliced, and 3 fat cloves of garlic, which has just been crushed with the skins on. And what we'll do is we'll give that no more than 8 minutes, because I just want the flavour of the vegetables and the garlic into our stock. So I'll pop the lid back on and we'll get back to that in about 8 minutes. So now the stock has had time to take the flavour of the vegetables. I'm now going to pass it through our sieve, but also with the help of our muslin cloth, which I've sterilised in boiling water. Now this is going to just catch any impurities in the stock. Again, being careful, hot liquid. I suppose at this stage you can see the cartilage and that is almost broken down to almost a translucent kind of state. But you can also see there the chicken on there, which we could even at this stage salvage. So you can see it there. We can make a little spring roll or something out of that if we wanted to. Get as much through as possible. We'll just give it a good squeeze to get final flavours out of it. Well, final flavours at this stage. There we have it. Now what I'm going to do is we'll swirl out the pan and we'll head back over to the stove. Now at this stage, I forgot to say before we head over to the stove, I usually make the stock the day before, and that gives it the chance, even though run through the muslin cloth, it gives it a chance to settle even more in the bowl. So when it comes to it, we can put it into the pan and just leave that sediment behind. But at this stage, it is absolutely perfect as it is. So we'll just crack on and head over to the stove now. Now my stock is back on the heat, just a low heat. At the same time, I've got my frying pan warming up for the chicken. Now usually there's 2 stages to the soup. One of the other flavourings, and the other one is also known as a dashi. Now a dashi is, this is the area where we go into where we talk about umami, which is the 5th taste sensation. And basically what it means is umami is like essence of the sea, kind of flavour to it. So to that I'm going to add, now usually it's kombu that is used, but today I've got these seaweed crisps which are just as flavoursome, so I'm going to pop them in here. For this you'll need about 4 of these. Also we want some dried mushrooms in here. Shiitake are best, but I've just got a mix here, about maybe 75 grams. Pop them into the water. Now I have seen through my research, there's even a place where at this stage, once maybe 12 minutes after it's been soaking, they remove the mushroom and the kombu, or in this case the seaweed, and they blitz it and they lay it on a sheet, dried it in an oven and make these kind of crisps with it. Really intense, delicious. You could do it at this stage if you wanted to do that. It's actually quite mind-blowing, the field of ramen. Now, while that's soaking, give it a wee swirl about. I'm going to add our other ingredients here, which is, again, I'll say it, all these ingredients should be the new basic store cupboard ingredients. We're going to start off with a rice wine vinegar. We're looking at about 60 mils. Also our mirin. We're looking at, again, about 60 ml. It's just naturally fermented rice. So it's natural sugars in there. Now, a couple of extra ingredients I'm going to be using are some fish sauce. Not really used in Japanese, but I like the flavour of it. About a tablespoon in there. Now what I would emphasise is, as it's we're adding each ingredient, give everything a little taste. So we'll give that a swirl about. And I'll give you an understanding of the flavour profiles. It's coming along there. Another one which we'll add later on is our sesame oil. I don't want to add this just now because I want people to build the dish. It's good quality sesame oil I'm using as well. Our next ingredient is our soy sauce. I'm using a dark soy sauce for a good bit of depth. I'll add 1 tablespoon. Just now. You can see it's starting to develop its colour. And like I said before, we'll build up each flavour profile. So another tablespoon in there. The next item I'm going to add is our Liam Perrins Worcestershire sauce. It's a firm favourite of mine. A lot of people don't know this, or maybe they do. It's actually got anchovies in the ingredients, and it brings out the flavour in the fermentation process of this, and it's used in a lot of Japanese cooking for that, again, umami taste. So into this I'm going to add a teaspoon. That'll be plenty. Just get another spoon. At this stage it's really all coming together. The chicken stock, our seaweed crisps, the mushrooms. I want to finish off with a couple of ingredients, which would be our ginger and our lemongrass. Again, lemongrass, not really used in this kind of cooking, but I just want to add my own wee twist to it. So first of all, I'm going to take the lemongrass and I'm just going to give it a bit of a bash with a rolling pin. We'll just pop that in. And now we're looking for about 2 inches of ginger, about the size of your thumb. So 2 inches, 2 thumb sizes. A neat trick here, and I do like doing this, rather than peeling it and slicing it, I just want the flavour of this ginger. I'm just going to take out grated ginger very carefully and get the ginger juice into there. Like that. So at this stage I'm going to pop the lid on, leave it all to infuse. Everything should take about 8 to 10 minutes, no more, because there'll be plenty of time for the flavour to come from the seaweed and the mushrooms. Now while the broth is infusing, we're going to fry our chicken thighs. Just a little drizzle of oil in the pan, and a hot smoky pan for this. We'll take our chicken, we'll take it skin side down, open it up so it cooks evenly. season liberally with the salt and pepper. Now there are recipes that will ask, maybe if you want it to be marinated, you can marinate the chicken in some soy sauce and sugar and some mirin. But I'm going to showcase the broth, but I want to showcase the chicken as it is. So we'll give that maybe 2 to 3 minutes on each side. We want that skin nice and golden and crispy. So now we're good to plate up our ramen. Now, the stock is nice and hot. You can see the little globules of the chicken fat on there, lovely for the flavour. Our chicken is well rested. And what I've got here are pre-cooked noodles, which I've cooked earlier on. These are wheat noodles. Now the noodles are a massive and important part of this kind of dish. So you choose the best noodles you would like to use. Or your favourite noodles will be just as good. So I've got 2 nests here. Each nest weighs about 30 grams. So again, these are cold, but they'll get rejuvenated once the hot stock hits. So a generous amount of noodles. Again, the noodles do play a massive part in this dish and are very, very important. At this stage, it's up to you what you would like to add. I'm going to have the chicken just now. I'll cut its skin side down at an angle. You can hear that crisp skin. Turn it back over. I just want to take out chicken. There's no real rhyme or reason to this. Don't want it too pretty looking. Want it good but rustic at the same time. I've got some chestnut mushrooms here, which I'm just going to scatter on the other side. So they're nice and thinly sliced. They've gone in raw for more of a salady kind of feel, a fresh kind of feel, and they will remain nutty. I'm going to pour over the broth. Give a quick mix with all that flavour in there. So I'm going to rejuvenate the noodles with our broth. Again, another couple of components on here. It's up to you if you want to use them or not. I think just add another flavour dimension to it. Here I've got a semi-dried tomato, which is tomato lightly brushed in a bit of olive oil, salt and pepper, and baked at about 160 for about an hour, hour and a half. Add that to there. And another component I'm going to add is our soft boiled egg. This has been boiled for about 6.5 minutes, so it's going to have a nice jammy centre to it. Again, another part of the, if you wanted to, would be to marinate the egg in some soy sauce. I'm going to place that on there. Finished with some spring onions, some fresh chilies, generous amount of coriander, and finished with just a small drizzle of sesame oil. So there we have my version of ramen. We've taken the chicken carcass, made a fantastic stock, the chicken thighs with lots of flavour, a couple of extra components, but it's up to you how you want to build your ramen. Enjoy!